the truth about low-carb or ketogenic diets.
Today, we'll talk about the pros and cons of a low-carb or ketogenic diet. Especially if you've been following it for a long time. Many people reduce or completely eliminate bread, rice, flour, and sugary foods when on this diet. However, you may have come across articles or heard from dietitians that a ketogenic diet is fine for a short period but shouldn't be followed long-term due to potential side effects. But is this really true? Let's discuss this in detail. Are carbohydrates essential? The first thing to understand is that carbohydrates such as bread, rice, and sugar are not essential nutrients. This means that your body does not need them in the same way it needs proteins essential amino acids and fats essential fatty acids. However, this does not mean that carbohydrates have no value. The real benefit of consuming carbohydrates comes from the vitamins, minerals, and fiber that naturally accompany them in foods like vegetables. For example, the carbohydrates found in vegetables provide not only energy but also essential nutrients and fiber, which are important for overall health. That said, not consuming glucose or energy derived from glucose does not cause significant harm to your body. You might be wondering, then how will we get energy? The answer is simple: your body can efficiently use fats or ketones as an energy source instead of glucose. It is not necessary to rely on glucose alone.
Like the performance Another common myth is that a low-carb diet damages the thyroid. The truth is that the thyroid does not require glucose to function properly. Instead, thyroid helps them to involve in nutrition, not just carbohydrate. Thyroid issues are more common associated with diets rather than low-carb diets. People often confuse the two, but they are completely different. A low-calorie diet can negatively impact thyroid function, whereas a low-carb diet does not cause such problems. When I recommend a ketogenic diet, I always emphasize the importance of consuming plenty of vegetables. Vegetables provide essential vitamins and minerals that support thyroid health and overall well-being. Why avoid grains? We should focus on getting nutrients from vegetables rather than grains because grains, like wheat and rice, are harder to digest. They also contain gluten, a protein that is difficult for the body to break down and can negatively affect digestion. Moreover, grains quickly convert into sugar once consumed, leading to spikes in blood sugar levels. Can you follow a low-carb diet long-term? Some people claim that it is impossible to follow a low-carb diet for an extended period because of cravings and the temptation to cheat. However, this is completely false. One of the biggest advantages of a low-carb diet is that it naturally reduces cravings and hunger. Hunger and cravings are the main reasons why people struggle to stick to a diet long-term. If you follow a low-calorie diet while still consuming a lot of carbohydrates, you will feel more hungry and experience stronger cravings, making it difficult to sustain the diet. In contrast, a low-carb diet helps control hunger and cravings, making it much easier to follow. Is a low-carb diet the same as a high-protein diet? Another common misconception is that a low-carb diet is the same as a high-protein diet. This is not necessarily true. Your protein intake depends on your goals. If you are actively building muscle and working out at the gym, you will need more protein. Otherwise, your protein intake should be balanced according to your body's needs. The body requires amino acids to build and repair tissues, but this does not mean you need excessive amounts of protein unless you are engaging in intense exercise. Are you missing out on essential nutrients? Some critics argue that a low-carb diet is unhealthy because it eliminates an entire food group. But let's be honest, what exactly are you eliminating? Refined and processed foods like naan, parathas made with cooking oils, synthetic and refined breads, biscuits, sweets, cakes, fast food,